Hello and welcome back to my devlog. Last time we created the tornado ability for the Stormcaller, and this time we will create that unit's last mechanic as well as the mechanic for the Myrmidon. So let's just get started. First, we will focus on the mechanic for the Stormcaller. This is going to be an emulation effect because they won't have an auto attack. I ended up calling this mechanic Storm Charge. So we won't create an actual ability for this, for example by copying the emulation ability and just using that. Instead we'll sort of build the ability ourselves. First we will set up the framework for the ability. We're gonna have a class which keeps track of each unit's ability effect. To show the player that the unit actually has the ability running and to give the ability a visual effect, we're also going to create a regular buff we can apply. In this we'll use the purge effect as our visual effect. So the main purpose of the class is to maintain the updating of the ability, checking if the unit is dead and dealing damage if it's not. Also, it will apply and remove the actual buff. To test real quick if the update works correctly, I just made a print statement in the update function. First run shows that it seems to update correctly, but the buff effect is never applied. This is just me being stupid, so I fixed it real quick and now they have a subtle lightning effect around them. Now let's add some more interesting effects to the update. So every second we want to deal damage to surrounding units, and this we can fit in a nice little update function. I'm using my own custom function to deal magic damage, which can be reduced by certain items. And this works like a charm on the very first go, so that's actually that. I decided to add a visual effect to the target to show that you're being hit. It looks a little bit dull right now. This took me a little while to get right because I first added it to the wrong unit and then I used the wrong effect and so on. But it worked in the end, and this is the final product of the mechanic. I'll upload this change to GitHub right away. And this leads me to a short interruption I want to make, because I've decided to go more public with my GitHub page. I have a repository for this project, and here you can find the latest updates of the map, such as the implementation of the Storm Charge mechanic we just uploaded. I'm also using GitHub to plan the project and keep track of bugs and ideas. So if you're interested in following this, then there's a link down below the video. Alright, let's go back to work. So we'll leave the Stormcaller for now and go work on this guy, the Myrmidon. He will have one mechanic, which is an attack that deals damage over time and slow the target as well. It's very similar to the Orc Gladiator's own Wounding Strike, so that's actually what we're going to call the mechanic, Wounding Strike. First thing is to see if the Myrmidons are actually still there. This basically means turning the Stormcaller spawn off and activating the Myrmidon. Oh boy, that's not right.
I believe whatever you say, I'll consider it.
Okay, so I turned down the spawn rate just a little bit, so it's easier to work with. But it works, so let's get started. So to make this super simple, we're actually just going to copy the slow ability and its buff. Just make some adjustment to those. Here I'm just creating the ability and changing the range, the cast effect, the cast animation and so on. I'm also changing the buff to have a more fitting icon and removing the yellow slow effect. Getting this ability to work took a few tries. First I apparently turned off the spawn completely instead of tuning down. Then I forgot to remove the mana cost of the ability, so they couldn't cast it. Then I realized I added the ability to the wrong unit type, and when the cast finally worked, the wrong buff was added, because I forgot to add the new one. And then it was also the wrong visual effect I was using. Sometimes I'm just not paying attention to what the fuck. Anyways, after a bunch of tries, it finally worked. Of course, this ability only adds the slow effect. Next we have to add the damage effect. But this was actually pretty simple, because I just copied the class from the Storm Charge as it contained most of the stuff we needed anyway. I just altered it a little bit, like adding a duration time on it, adding a damage source, and then changing the visual target effect a little bit. So I ran a test on that and it worked in the first try. How is that even possible? Or at least the new effect did. Because apparently I hadn't fixed the ability entirely, because the initial target effect was on the wrong target. I really have to get my head out of my ass. But now the mechanic works just alright. So that actually concluded that unit. So now we have 2 finished units in the round, so I say we run a little test with both of them in the map. So I just reactivate the Naga spawner and see where it goes.
Finally, I'll consider it. Whatever you say.
Look at that. Tornadoes chasing you all over the place, giant Nagas striking you down, and Nagas electrifying you. Man, that's just beautiful. Alright, let's end on a high note today. Next time we'll take a look at the final unit, which is the watercaller. If you have any questions or suggestions, leave a comment. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button. If you want to follow me on this map making journey, hit subscribe. I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.